The following content is for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You are now listening to No Free Drinks, the not your ordinary dating, relationships, and sex advice podcast.
Join me, Wesley, your Keeps It Real co-host. We were going out, I would say steady for like 6 to 8 months. We just abruptly stopped having sex. So why are we not getting freaky? Like, what the f*** going on? So she's like, no, because I've renewed my faith in God. I know how I am. Like, I'm not going to get no cheeks. I'm going to cheat on you. Brock, your Knows-It-All co-host.
And then my go-to hookup one, as always, and will forever be Tinder. Like, it's just, like, in the bathroom, like, cool, I got these 5-10 minutes, like, just thumb game strong, like.
And Lena D, your No-Chill co-host.
Oh, so do you go down on women? And there were a few men that said, no, like, I don't believe in that. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't believe in you, so we should probably end this.
God. That's harsh as
I mean, it's harsh as to say you're not going to eat my pussy out.
Join us every Wednesday for
all type of societal norms being turned upside down.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to No Free Drinks. We are in the new year of 2018.
Yeah. We made it, bitches.
We made it.
We're still alive.
We're still alive. Trump ain't killed us yet. We good.
He's trying damn hard, though.
I'm here. As you can hear, I'm back with my hosts,
Lena D.
And Brock.
And we are here to talk about self-improvement for the new year of 2018. Not that new year, new me bullshit, but new year improved me. I'm going to tell you how we do that. All right. I'm going to let Lena D take it away.
Yeah, it's like not the every single year. It's like it's not a new you. It's still the same you. Like, why do you want to scrap the entire you?
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking losing formula.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, let me forget everything from the previous year.
yeah, that's a foundation built on sand.
So it's like the New Year's resolutions thing. They're such a cliche, but I do think it's important to have a renewed view on how you approach things in life year to year and just reflect what you did well, what goals you accomplished. For those that are out there still looking for love and relationships, especially, it's like, don't go into the new year doing the same shit you were doing last year. Obviously, it didn't work for you. So part of what we wanted to do in the spirit of a more informed, wiser you is just give you some like advice, some tools on how you can have better dating experience in 2018.
Hey.
Hopefully more healthy relationships based on those people that you meet. And so that you can actually win in 2018 when it comes to your dating life.
Charlie Sheen status right there. Charlie Sheen status. Tiger blood.
Yeah. So pretty much, we'll be talking about healthy dating and healthy relationships and tips to go about doing that. And probably the biggest and first step of that is it starts with you, which is kind of like, oh, well, no, I'm dating someone else. I have to worry about the qualifications. Some people do look at qualifications of the other person, but no, like you have to like look at yourself first. And a big part of that is your emotional and mental health current standing. Are you even in a standing or capacity to date someone? And a lot of times we don't do that. We just kind of like just constantly, consistently trying to date someone, whether it's the apps, whether it's friends of friends, whether it's just going out. But we're not taking time to take care of ourselves. And the best time to date someone is when you're healthy, emotionally and mentally healthy. Then you'll be more physically and emotionally present for that significant other. You'll feel better. They'll get the vibe that, person I'm dating is in a better space as well. And it just makes things so much better. And so I guess one of the things you might be asking is like, oh, how do I even do that? And a big way I found to do that is just constant reflection. So it doesn't have to be like a thing you do is specific or whatever, the third of every month, whenever you want. I usually do it around my birthday, around the holidays. I had a weird one, kind of still do it now, where whenever it rained, I would like just reflect, like, hey, what has happened to me in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months? What did I do that I could have possibly done better? Or sometimes it could be a fucked up situation, you don't regret it. And that's a part of it, like, why didn't you regret it? And so, yeah, so just constant reflecting and just trying to, like Lena D said, just trying to improve on who you were from yesterday is a huge part of that. And then once you are a better version of you, you can give more of yourself to the person you're dating. And that's just respectful of his or her time, of your time, because you don't want to start dating someone and you realize, oh, shit, I'm not in a capacity to date you right now.
Right.
But then it's like, it's not like a video game where you can like, oh, okay, just disconnect from, like, this is like real people, real feelings. And then you have this other person invested in you, and then took you whatever 6 months, a year, 2 years. You're like, actually, I need to work on this part of me, whether it's professionally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's whatever it is in your life. So you kind of want to figure it out beforehand, because it's not fair to other people for them to invest in you. And like, people's emotions is a part of it. It's real. It's not like, oh, okay, you just need time. Cool. Like, they're going to be upset, and rightfully so. And then, so just be mindful of that. And then if you're not in a good place, you're going to struggle to give others the time. Yep. Or if you somehow do give other people the time, it's going to be at your own health risk, because you're not going to be able to do the self-care that you need.
Right.
The other thing too, it's like sometimes it's being demanding of the other person's time because you're going through a lot. And sometimes it's like not what the person signed up for. Like if you're not somebody that's in a healthy state, or you're thinking that because now you're in a relationship, you have somebody that's always going to be there for you no matter what. And then you end up getting upset when, you know, they still have their lives going on. So it's like a part of it is also, do you feel like you just need someone to feel like you're not alone? Or is it, do you really want to be someone because you value who they are and you're in it for the right reasons too? I think a lot of that comes from that reflection that you were talking about, Brock.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, the reason why you're dating is super, super important. Like, do you honestly and truly feel like a crazy connection with this person? You want to build something, or are you just a serial dater and you just always have to be with someone? And then that comes with just reflection. Like, I think you'll know you're at a pretty good place is if, can I just sit at home and just be happy? Or is it just like, I mean, we all crave some type of human interaction, but like if you feel like incomplete without someone else, like you probably should just take a step back and like, why do I have to have someone in order to feel complete? Which is not the healthiest of ways. Is then I've seen it happen many times where like you serial date, you just need someone, you just get like super fucking clingy, and
that's kind of weird. I'm not with that.
Yeah, that's just being selfish.
Yeah,
you can't be. I mean, you have to be selfish by yourself first, and then that way you understand how to compromise with somebody else. But you can't do that when you're not in the right emotional state, or if you have so many other things going on that it's not fair to you to give up your time for somebody else when you're in need of your own time.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and then a good way to like kind of help with that, I always viewed it as kind of you time, us time, and me time. So like obviously new relationship, you want to hang out with this person as much as possible. At the same times, I don't know, maybe I just want to play some video games. Maybe you just
hear that, Lady D? You hear that? You hear that?
You always play all the video games.
All the games.
All the games.
You take over the TV, that's when it becomes a problem. But I digress.
What if I don't want to watch fucking House of Cards for like the 5th time?
Oh, say yes to the dress.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just want to read a book. I mean, it's fine to kind of just want to do stuff for your own. You're like, no, babe, I'm staying tonight or whatever. Just watch the game. You go out with your girlfriends. Like having that separation. Like we don't always have to do every single thing together is super, super healthy.
You hear that?
Why are you're just like now just being crazy. I always do stuff without you.
Lies. Lies.
And then and then not losing and then the self-care part is continuous. So it's not like, oh, take care of myself, start dating, just forget about it. No, it should be continuous throughout the relationship. You want to maintain like your previous life in a way. Like you don't want to, obviously it's going to be more of a co-mingling and meshing, but you don't want to just complete forget about it. I've had a lot of friends across the years be like one of your good boys and then you start dating a chick and you just don't hear from them. Just like
they just disappear.
Just disappear for fucking like 3-4 years and it's like
those motherfuckers,
and then they just come back, hey, what's up, Brock?
Like, oh, so what happened to your girl? What happened to you and your girl?
Who this? Like, what the fuck? And then it's always crazy when you'll see like they'll forget about you, but then now he's with all of her friends. Like, the fuck is this? And so like just try to avoid that too. That's just not a good look. So yeah, so having your own hobbies and your own friends and then trying to maintain that. I think we all struggle with the balance. Like what is the right balance of investing time in someone else, but also like I just like doing certain shit by myself, or we're not going to be 100%, like we're not going to like to do the every single thing together. Like it might be something like I love and you just might honestly hate, which is fine. So like trying to have that balance of stuff you can still do by yourself is super, super healthy. And just take care of yourself. Like nothing worse than dating, then you guys become official and then he or she is like, oh, actually don't think I'm in the space to date. Like it's nothing wrong with dating. One person bringing up the topic like, hey, like what are we? Can we be exclusive? Boyfriend, girlfriend. You'd be like, know what? Not ready for that next step right now. Or for whatever reason, just articulate that and let that person, now that person has all the cards, and now they can make an informed decision. Just communicate that. Like don't like, oh well, if I tell him that he or she might leave me, well that's the risk you run. But it's the responsible moral thing to do and not lead someone on. Or maybe you don't even know you're leading someone on because you're not taking care of yourself. So that's my 2 cents around just making sure your emotional and mental health is intact before trying to date someone else. And like we kind of like heard the cliche like 2 halves make a whole, or my better half. Like no, you don't want to be a fucking half capacity going into dating someone else. Like obviously you're not going to be 100% because we're always continuously improving. But you want to kind of have most of your shit together before you start dating someone.
I want the whole the whole package.
Like, not 10 years old to have fucking half capacity. I'm going to be a little bit more than half capacity at this point in your life. So, yeah, just take care of yourself and, before you try to start dating anyone else.
Right. And in order to take care of yourself, you got to know yourself. So, I'm always a bearer of bad news. Like always on these episodes, I feel like
we've just delegated that role to you.
Like it's just like you just have a way of delivering the news that is funny. I was like, okay, well, fine. So a lot of things that I feel like people need to do is just identify, limit, and eliminate some of the unhealthy relationship traits that one may have. A couple of them be like keeping score. I'm very guilty of doing that
all the time.
I keep score. Like, wait, hold on. You get to spend money on this, but I can't spend my money on this thing. That's one of the many examples. Without going into some real deep shit. Being passive aggressive, Lena D.
I'm never passive aggressive.
Lies. Anyway, that's the next one, by the way, is lies. So she's lying about being passive aggressive. You see how that works? You lie about stuff. Like, example of a lie. Oh, babe, I think you're the best in bed. You're the best ever. Fellas, when you hear that's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. That's a lie.
I've been with your ass for like 11 years. That is not a lie.
Okay, well, if it's 11 years, that's fine. But if it's like 4 months into it, That's a lie. You ain't seen all the tricks yet in 4 months. You ain't seen like 30% of the tricks.
We're still on the title page.
Yeah.
That's only if he's putting it down correctly. We've already talked about that there's dudes out there that don't put it down.
Okay, Lena D, whatever you say. Being impatient. Like, impatient would be like, oh my gosh, babe, why can't you make me come, blah, blah, blah. Like, see, I'm just trying to be funny, but being impatient is like one thing that I have a tendency of being sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that too. Have you found a way to like help combat that? Like, what's your I'm curious what your secret is to help with that.
Man, it really depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll be at home and like we're supposed to do one thing and then like shit changes like super last second. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm watching Netflix. I ain't gonna do none of this stuff that you just said just now. Another way, honestly, another constructive way that I deal with being impatient is just that I try to focus my energy towards something else. Research stuff that I've been meaning to research from like years ago. Don't ask me what, or I just fall into a YouTube hole. Like the other day, I was watching scary Snapchat stories. Like, that's real. So it's shit like that I just try to do to like keep my mind occupied so that way I'm not thinking about being impatient. You'll be amazed what a 4-minute clip of scary shit will do to you. Like, but that's just me. I'm weird like that. So yeah, I know I'm not very constructive, but for me, it works.
I think it's just like thinking about it from the other person's perspective too. Like Wesley will get impatient if I'm like 10 minutes late, but I'm telling him, hey, the train
sounds like me too.
Man, it's you got to be on time. You ever watch Drumline? You never watched Drumline?
What does that have to do with
Drumline?
With the trains
the guy,
late?
the drum major basically said that if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. You're late if you're on time.
Oh, jeez. But I mean, that's different if you're in a social setting, and sometimes like things are just like, especially I think the toughest times when Wesley gets impatient is, and this isn't necessarily around like a new relationship, but it could be. So like, let's say you know that the person that you're about to go on a date with or that you're dating is coming from another event, and they text you and they say, hey, I'm still here, I'm running late. At least the person's communicating to you that they're going to be running late.
See, that I'm cool with that.
But sometimes you do get impatient. You still get impatient around that.
Yeah, because we're supposed to meet up.
You were supposed to meet up at 7 and
Yeah.
it's now 7:10 and you just left the place and it's going to take you like 10 minutes to get here. So I completely get it. But I think it's like thinking about it from the other side, because there have been times when Wesley has gotten caught into the fun trap. And then
which rarely happens, by the way.
And then, well, he'll be like, well, I'm running late. And sometimes he's ran like an hour late, but I'm just very understanding because I know that happens to me. So that's how I deal.
Wait, but this shit ain't about me, okay? Like, this is about you guys. The guys who are listening. Guys
like,
and ladies
put
who are listening.
yourself in the other person's shoes.
Man, I should have never said what I was saying before. And you know what I'm saying?
That's my tip on how to deal with it, is just put yourself in that other person's shoes. And if it's hard for you to do that, like, you can ask questions, but just don't be confrontational when you ask questions.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think
that's 100%.
Yeah, it took me a while to learn that, and it's like, yeah, think about it's so easy to just kind of just like spit off the dome like right away, like, hey, why are you late? Or da 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 da. It's like, think about like steps 2 and 3. Like, okay, if I say that and I'm wrong, then I just done fucked up.
Yeah.
So like, the biggest problem being impatient is when just being so short sighted. Like, I don't care about the consequences, and then just kind of like
that's kind of
just kind of like teaching yourself to like, if you actually care about this person, I need to care about the consequences. And
hell yeah,
just go through the motions, like talk it out loud in my head, and just like doesn't always work, but at least you're like mindful about that. So yeah, I think with impatient, it has helped me to like just think about the potential consequences, because there's a good chance I might be wrong. Just like,
yeah,
you might just actually be running late, not just bullshitting me.
Another one would be expecting your partner to read your mind.
Oh man,
I'm looking at somebody right now.
I hate that one.
Mm-hmm.
I never expect you to read my mind.
Oh, who said I was looking at you? Oh,
You
guilty. You mad guilty right now.
Is there somebody like standing behind
I'm looking
me?
at this teddy bear that she got behind you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
The
looking
teddy
at
bear
you.
is like the teddy bear is the one that's like expecting
teddy
you to
bears
read
all
the
over the
sign.
place. Look at it. Trying to punish or inflict pain on your partner, either intentionally or unconsciously. What the fuck? Look, man, that motherfucker needs to go to jail. Anyway,
No, I think that like goes back with the tit for tat thing.
you think so.
So like, oh, they hurt me, now I must hurt them. Like some people have like a crazy obsession with that and keeping score.
Like that's why your mama said you used to pee in the bed when you were younger. Like just some like low blows. Like just like you don't have to say that, motherfucker. Like
what's another one? Oh, unsupportive towards your partner's goals. I'm not guilty of any of that. I've never even seen that, to be quite honest.
you shouldn't be dating someone that does that.
You really shouldn't. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go.
I think it's more around like people that like either some people want like all that person's time, and when they see that they're really focused on something else, sometimes they won't be supportive around it. Instead, they try to make the person feel like bad because they're pursuing certain goals. But that does happen. That's why it's bad behavior that you should stop doing. Otherwise, you're going to be single for life.
Yeah, basically.
No cheeks for you.
Name calling. I'm not guilty of that. I don't call women out of their name. I don't really call anybody by their name. I'm a quiet guy, so that does nothing for me. Acting jealous or possessive. Yeah, maybe I've done that once or twice, but
That's a hard one. Like,
what, you think so?
I think
it's kind of easy. It's easy to like.
well, to not be jealous.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's easy. It shouldn't be jealous. To not be jealous. Like I remember, like first couple exes, just had so many guy friends, and I don't know if it's just they want to believe in people or just a naivete. It was like, no, he's just a friend. I'm like, no. As soon as I fuck up, this motherfucker's gonna try to swoop in. He's not your friend. So it's like when not as much now, but like when you're younger, like trying to like balance like. I don't know, we use the term friend so loose, like, oh, he's my friend. Like, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's nice to you because you try and get in them cheeks. He's just staying on the bench playing his role.
Yeah.
So, but you don't want to be like too...
Yeah, you don't want to be overt.
Overtly aggressive from like little shit.
I mean, I think the advice for that one's easy. Just if he's really a friend, just be friends with him. Like
the fuck?
If he's your girl's friend... Or like if he's your boy's like friend, like on the female side, it's like just try to be friends. Like if you're usually when you'd be mixing with a normal group of friends, like you're not going to be like, oh, your girlfriend likes you like that. Like that doesn't even cross your mind.
Yeah.
It's usually with friends that happen to be like of the opposite sex of your partner.
Yeah.
Or if, depending on whether they're heterosexual or homosexual, like I think it's just around like just being open-minded and like anybody that's been in that significant other's life, like you should try to be their friend as well, because then I think you'll get a better sense of what their real intentions are. Because at first glance, like anything can seem suspect.
Yeah. Another one would be disrespecting your partner's privacy or independence. You're guilty of that one for sure. Not the independence part, but the privacy part. When I'd be like, I just need to be by myself. Play these video games for like 2 hours.
Oh, you mean like your quiet time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you meant like checking the phone.
No, not like that. Like, I don't. Man, my phone is what it is. Like, I ain't.
Yeah, no, quiet time's important. Like different people need different things to be themselves.
Yeah, man.
I don't understand the concept of quiet time. I need out time. Yeah, well, otherwise, I get cranky.
All right, well, peace out. I'm saying.
You know where we live at.
Cheating. I'm not really guilty of that. Physical or emotional abuse. You need to call 911.
You shouldn't be with somebody.
Nah, you 100% shouldn't.
It's no fucking excuse for that at all.
Not.
And I mean, abuse comes in many ways. Like, it's not just how you define it. So if you are in a relationship where you're seeing that you're being abused, like you should
talk to somebody.
Talk to someone.
And if you got kids involved, please go to like call a hotline and go to a shelter. Like, that's not anything to even be playing around with or joking around with. We make light of certain things, but that's one thing we don't do. So yeah, for sure, just do that.
And if you're the one that's being abusive, then you shouldn't even be in a relationship.
Man, you need to go take
step away from
anger management classes.
because that's kind of like the whole emotional thing that you need to keep checked.
Right. Yeah, like why are you latching out someone you allegedly care for is
allegedly.
Yeah.
Now, some of these, like, you know, some of the stuff that we do, like the traits that I went through, they're sometimes used to like guard us, to keep us, to like build the wall around us, right? But in actuality, you're really only really hurting yourself, because what you think is your greatest strength could actually be your biggest weakness. I was gonna say chink in the armor, but that phrase gets used a little too much. So yeah. And then you get lots of missed opportunities because of all the bad traits that you have, and they build up over time too. Your heart gets broken, gets trampled. You start doing certain things. You start treating people differently from when you were before. You're like a jaded version of yourself, and you don't even know it.
I mean, that's a lot between like taking inventory of your emotional and like mental state. Like that in itself is a lot of work. And then also going through and being honest of like, what are the behaviors that I'm guilty of in my previous relationships where they haven't worked out? Like that's a lot. But like, I think those are the best ways to think about evaluating if you are even ready to be in a relationship with someone. So come the new year, hopefully you've started to think about some of this stuff. You've taken the family time, the reflection. But if you find that going through that list of things is emotionally exhausting and you just don't feel that you could be prepared to give your all to somebody else, at this point, it's okay to just like not want to date. And I think most people feel pressured that they need to find someone, or they just don't want to be single because all of their friends are getting married. And we kind of talked about this in one of our previous episodes, especially around like the whole cuffing season idea. It's like, oh, well, maybe I should just rush into a relationship. But it's okay. And like sometimes your friends may not say it to you, but if being single is the best thing for you, then you should be single.
For real.
However, if you're ready to be in a relationship and you're like, okay, I know that I've done all this shitty stuff before, this is what I'm doing to avoid that in the future, then the next thing is just setting attainable expectations for yourself in your dating life and being honest about what you want. So are you in a spot where you think that you immediately want to get into a long-term relationship? Then I think that's something that you have to be honest with and approach it with learning from your previous relationships of like why those didn't turn into long-term relationships. And if you're able to then evaluate that, then with a new person, you'll be either able to pick up on the red flags that you missed before. You can either curtail your behavior that could have been playing a role as to why that relationship didn't work out. And really just use like your experience and your past is the best tool that you can draw on in order to make yourself stronger in a future relationship. So don't be afraid to like just hit those kind of like taking the skeletons out of the closet and sort of like hitting those like dead on so that you know what to avoid in the future. And you'll be surprised about how telling your own experiences are. I think most people like to learn from like their friends' experiences, but they don't spend the time that they should learning about their own experience within a certain situation. So I highly recommend that, and just reflecting on what has continued to cause you pain, because that's kind of emotional baggage that you don't want to bring on to a new relationship and sort of like spoil that experience for you. Another thing too that I would encourage you to focus on is defining what you want for yourself, not for timelines or other people and their timelines. And also being honest about what it is that you want in your partner and being realistic. So I think for some people, they focus so much on a laundry list of things that they physically want in somebody, or like a job title, but then they don't really think about characteristics that they want in a person. And then you sort of get caught up in this loophole, or like, are you really dating the right people? Like, are you filtering people out from the beginning? Some people I don't think filter out enough, and then they just end up talking to people that they're like underwhelmed about, which I never understood why, if you don't have any sort of chemistry with someone, that you would continue to see them.
Such a fucking waste of time.
And I would say like that's kind of the biggest thing. It's like, be honest, be realistic. You know yourself better than anyone, and don't try to force something if it's not meant to be what you want it to be, just because you're in a rushed timeline that you've kind of created for yourself. But I would say those are the big 3 buckets. It's knowing yourself, making sure that you're emotionally and mentally prepared to go into a relationship, being honest with yourself on like the bad characteristics that have potentially damaged previous relationships, and then just having the right expectations. I think that's a good way to go into 2018, setting yourself up for success.
Agreed.
But let's talk about those misconceptions that people have, that pitfalls that I don't, for as many stories as I hear, there's always somebody that falls into them.
What, like magical people who come out of nowhere? Sweep them off their feet?
Well, yeah, that you're just going to have like your Princess Charming, like just fall on your lap.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, I never understand that. It's like, you don't ever like go out. Like, going out can mean anything. It can mean the museum, it can mean the bar, the park. You just always stay in. Somehow you're going to meet someone in your living room. Like, how do you think that's going to work?
Man, this
like,
shit ain't no Disney movie.
Let's go meet the elevator. Oh.
Yeah, I think you have to be ready to, like, you have to have a game plan for dating. And it should be a reasonable game plan, too. Like, I don't think it's healthy to go on, like, dates 5 nights a week and do that every single week. Like,
That's also expensive.
well, if you're...
Depends on who you are, though.
Depends on who's paying. Yeah, it all depends on who's paying.
I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, yeah, if you're on the other side, you're not paying, then shit, I go 7 for 7.
Yeah, man.
So,
Don't do that. I'm just joking.
Handing out, they're not handing out the butt tax like that. Like, it's not happening.
right. So, I mean, I don't think that's like a healthy, approachable plan.
Definitely not.
So I would say, like, yes, you have to put in work for dating, but also be balanced about it. Like, and then if somebody's not for you, then just communicate it and move on. Like, you don't have to make anybody your charity case or anything.
For real.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Don't ghost them.
No ghosting. No.
Well, very guilty of that.
I was like, wait a minute.
Don't be me, though.
That ghost lifestyle. Sex is not equal love. Remember that. Sex is not equal love.
There's so many people that will say that is once they become like intimately involved with someone, once they fuck, like they're just like, oh shit, like I have feelings for them.
I'm in love.
And you can't do that.
Yeah, I got a story about that one. Like
Story time.
Story time. Blues Clues.
Where? Where?
So there was this was back when I was living in Ohio. There was a young lady who will not be named. We'll call her Vicky. Ohio Vicky. She was going out with this guy, but she wanted to be with him a bit more long term. This is a real short story. So the guy basically told her, like, look, like I'm with this other chick and I'm in love with both of you guys. But he still kept letting her, like, letting him like hit it or whatever. And I forgot how it ended. I think it ended where like the guy ended up choosing the other chick, but because like the sex was really good, like she just stuck around and was kind of hypnotized by his penis. I was like, well, you in love, but I don't think it's the love that you want. I think you're in love with something else. I think it's you're in love with a banana and 2 apples. Like, so yeah. But yeah, sex is not equal love. If you fall into that trap, leave immediately before you get your heart hurt.
Get yourself a good sex toy.
What?
Something like masturbate more. Like you don't need a man or a woman to fulfill your sexual desires or that specific one. You can find another one that's willing to give you more than just sex. Sex is important, but it shouldn't be the one thing that determines everything that you do.
Sex is important, but it's a lot.
Like if you're having just sex and the person's not respecting you, that's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, 100% not. No.
Yeah, you have to be on the same page. Like if you're both just hooking up, then that's fine. But yeah, but like if he's just putting it down in your she and then you want more, and then either they clearly indicated like this is all you're getting, like just
that's not the situation.
Yeah, just not gonna end well.
Have to leave.
Yeah, another big pitfall is just settling for less, and I think there's a correlation with age, like kind of as we get older, and then society tells us we should be married by XYZ age and have this many kids. Like we feel like all these external pressures to kind of settle down, which do the fuck you want. If you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, don't. Like if you want to get married at 20 or 30 or 60, like just do whatever makes you happy. I think a lot of times we fall into this trap of settling and then just fucking miserable. Like divorce rates 50% and higher each subsequent time you get married. I used to work in trading before grad school, and like all these guys are married, all their wives are stay-at-home moms, and it's just the shit you see. Like when to be honest, the liquor doesn't even need to be flowing, but it doesn't help. Like shit you see, like all these people are married, but like the amount of them just not happy, or they just the power dynamic. They just know like what's the significant other gonna do, like not bringing home any money, like don't have situation. Like you don't want to be in that type of situation because oh well, he or she's making money, I'm supposed to be married now, I'm supposed to be popping out babies, and now you just in shit, just in the love of shit. So just be mindful of that, and the biggest way to combat that is our first tip of just self-care and just knowing your worth and being in space where you can be single and be completely fucking happy. Just being single. So just know your worth and don't compromise on that. Like no fucking reason to settle.
I know my worth.
Yeah, it's like you just have to follow your own timeline. And I think with that too is being realistic about what you can and cannot control. And sometimes I think people find attractive qualities in a person, but there's also sometimes deal breakers that you end up just forgiving and saying, oh, well, no, I think I can get used to this, or I can change this. I think the biggest pitfall is thinking that you meet someone that either because the sex is really good or because of like social economic reasons or because you feel like you have to settle, like everything that we just mentioned, like all those pitfalls sometimes lead you to think that you have the power to change someone. And as soon as you're thinking that, you should be getting out of that situation because it's not the situation that you want. And at the end of the day, you're not going to end up being truly happy. You're just going to be following this false sense of a timeline or like a false sense of being with somebody. But then you'll find that there's more detrimental situations coming out of it versus like if you would have just walked away and just tried to find somebody that's more compatible for you.
Right. Yeah.
And in order to find people that are more compatible, obviously, you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. You've tried things that didn't work. You've tried dating apps potentially. I feel like a lot of people have just defaulted to meeting people on dating apps. And I think now, like, it's been a few years of people being on dating apps and they're finally getting sick of using them because they just find themselves in the same situations time after time. But I think you can still meet people in real life. Like yes, we're on a digital age, and yes, we love being on our phones and our computers and always being online, but that doesn't mean that you have to just find someone online. You can still find people in real life.
Yeah, that's true. Just crazy because like you're on the train. I noticed that when I like pulled my phone away. I was on the train this one time and I forgot my phone or some shit. Hopped on the train. Everybody was looking down. Like everyone was looking down.
Even
like,
couples. This is the
like,
weirdest thing to
shit.
see a couple next to each other.
Okay, I'm guilty of that though.
And
Yeah,
I'm
terrible.
Wait, you're just as bad as I am.
No,
No, because you got your watch. You just look at your watch.
No,
Really?
but I don't respond.
That's a lie.
I don't.
don't.
But yeah, no, it's true. It's like everybody's like on their phones and they don't pay attention to their surroundings anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starting super young. Yeah, so I like go out to dinner and be like family, like mom, dad, or whatever, just mom, just dad. And it's like all the families are like little kids. It'll be like a toddler. And the toddler have a fucking phone.
How the fuck
like,
does that happen?
just watching a movie or playing a game at dinner. So like we didn't like we kind of grew up with like cell phones, smartphones, like kind of like teenage years. But like now they're like starting like 2-3 years old, and like the kind of the running joke is like the first thing a toddler would do now is they'll press everything. They'll press the anything with a screen. They'll just press. 'Cause they just expect everything to be touch screen. It's like it's kind of scary. Like if we're this bad and we started as teenagers, I can only imagine how the next generation would be like at fucking dinner outside of the home, and you just find with you just kids just on the fucking phone. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. So like I think for people that are looking to find someone, you just have to like get off your phone, get off of like expecting something to happen through an app. Like there's other ways that you can meet new people, whether it's speed dating events, whether it's like friends of friends, or the big one is like approaching people. Like if you see someone that's attractive, like just go up and talk to them. Like
Let me pump the brakes on that one.
Really?
Remember, we're in New York City, right? Anything that I say will be either is me being rude or being thirsty.
Well, I think that it's different.
I'm not sucking my teeth or licking my lips, looking at your butt or whatever. I'm just me approaching you saying, hey, my name is such and such. I think you're beautiful. Would you like to have some coffee sometime?
So I think you
simple
have to,
is best,
you have
right?
to be aware of where you are. So I'm recommending it like
Yeah,
within a
environment
closed
matters.
environment,
Like Starbucks.
like a Starbucks or like the bar.
I don't know,
like,
man. Starbucks is hit or miss.
Not the gym, motherfuckers.
Nah,
Not
the
the
gym.
Can't do the gym.
I'm like,
I've never
how are you
kicked
doing
it to-
this?
Yeah, I don't see the appeal to it.
I got
don't.
kicked out at the gym and it was such a turn off. And it was the stupidest way too. I'm like sitting there. I was in the middle of a set too.
The unwritten rule is you don't interrupt
Interrupt this-
anyone
come on,
while
man.
mid-set.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that.
Catch me at least by the fucking water fountain.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, Under Armour. I'm wearing Under Armour."
At least he didn't say anything crazy though. Like I've been, I think he was just weird in his approach, but
he just went super basic / safe.
And then I just looked at him and I'm like, yeah. And then I kept doing what I did. And then he came around a second time.
hey.
And then this time he looked at my workout pants. And I have these pants that have a subway map of Manhattan. Actually, it's all of New York City. And then he's like, and he points at my thigh. And he's like, oh, I grew up there.
Oh Jesus!
In Brooklyn or something. And I was just like,
No,
that's nice.
no,
Like,
no.
Don't do it.
and I was just like, this is terrible. This guy needs to go away. And I mean, I was like, it felt so awkward. Like, I didn't want to be mean, but I was like, this isn't the place for it. Like,
At least wasn't licking his lips. That'd been weird.
I mean, he followed me around the gym afterwards, but
Ugh.
like, I think he was looking for a third attempt to talk to me, and like, he just was bad.
Did you have headphones on? I mean, not that it matters, but
I did
curious.
have headphones.
Damn, he went through all the fucking firewall. He was like,
Yeah.
shit.
Excuse me. Hello. Excuse me.
But I'm saying like that's not the environment. But I think like if I'm I'm waiting for my coffee at Starbucks, like that's a good time to approach somebody.
Hey.
Or if you're at the bar and you're with your friends, like don't be afraid of like leaving your friends and going to say hi to somebody. If it doesn't work out, like, you can just come back and talk to your friends. It's not like you're by yourself. But I think that most men and women are like petrified, especially in big cities, of just approaching and talking to other people.
You never know what's gonna happen. I'm telling you. Like, why are you so thirsty? Like,
Well, then if that happens, you walk away.
Yeah.
And then you could say, like, you could just be like, well, apologies. I assumed that you would react differently. Or like, you don't even have to give an explanation. You just say apologies and you walk away, or my bad and walk away.
I seen this one lady this one time, and I was like, man, she smells really nice, and she got a nice dress on. I went up to her, I was like, "Oh, ma'am, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think you smell really nice, and I think you got a nice dress on." She was like, "What? What you trying to say?" I'm like, "Whoa,
where was this?
I'm just paying you a compliment. This is on the 2 train. On the way home, I'm like, I'm just paying you a compliment. I'm not trying to be weird. I'm actually gonna walk this way. I just want to let you know that what you got on, you look good and you smell good. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to kick on you. I'm not kicking it with you. I didn't follow up with, oh yeah, let's go to Starbucks. Let's do this. No, I just said you smell good and you look good. I think you're well put together. I'm gonna walk away. That's it. That's it. I didn't say you're well put together. That's all I was saying. No, I wasn't gonna say that. No, I just said like but she did have a nice dress on and like she smelled good. Like I was just paying you a compliment. I don't know if anyone did, but just letting you know I'm not trying to be strange.
Yeah,
walk away.
I think like sometimes like even when your intentions are good, like it ends up being kind of crazy and stuff. But I'm talking about in social settings, like at a bar, at a restaurant, I don't know, like out in wherever you are hanging out at a park. Like I just think you just have to be more comfortable approaching people, especially if you see somebody that you like. Yeah. Especially for the ladies that always expect men to approach them. If you see somebody that you like, and they're not coming up to you, and you feel like the opportunity is slipping away, you should just go and say hi.
Some women say mean things though. When you go up to I had a friend that did that. Went up to a woman, said something nice or whatever. It's like, oh my god, like why would I even be interested in that guy?
Sometimes they just try to take your fucking soul.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, like that's so mean. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't usually. If I don't like the person that's giving me the compliment, sometimes I'll say thank you as I'm walking away.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll just pretend I didn't hear them.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pull your shoulder back and be like, yo, what's up? Let me get your number. Let me see what that smell like. Oh, yeah? Well, fuck you then. Like, you can't imagine how many times I've seen that kind of an interaction. It's crazy.
It always escalates real
fucking fast.
Like,
oh, yeah? You walked away with that? Fuck you then, bitch. That's exactly how it goes. Yeah. It's crazy. So,
but I'm still a proponent. Like, I think that if you really want to shake things up this year and you really want to meet someone, sometimes you just got to go for it. And it's not going to be comfortable, but you know what? The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be with it. And then you're not going to give a fuck if like some lady like curses you out. Or if some dude like curses you out, if some dude says, "Oh, I'm not into you," like it's like sometimes like people just have to be more comfortable dealing with like superficial rejection, because that person doesn't know you. You don't know that person. Like you just think they're attractive. You think that they might be somebody that you might want to go on a date. But then you know what? Most people go on a date from apps, and like they still end up not being with them. So you have nothing to lose.
That's also true too.
So I'm just that's my big thing for 2018. If you're still looking for love, if you're still looking to meet somebody, just go out and do it. Like just step out of your comfort zone. Like either go to new places, like stop going to the same coffee shop, like go to a new one. Like spice it up, go to a different workout class, like get new hobbies, just like because that way you'll start meeting other people that you normally wouldn't run into or see. I mean it's different in New York City, but because it's such a huge place, but like for smaller towns and other places, like it's worth just shaking things up because you might expose yourself to new people. And then I would say like redefining your approach. So it depends on how you normally act in the beginning. So I think some people like myself, like I go off of chemistry very quickly. So I'm like, oh, like they're hot. Like I want to talk to them. Like I like their energy. Like I like being around them. So I'll usually be very straightforward with that. But if you're somebody that is like that and you find that that normally hasn't worked out for you, then I would say do the opposite. Like be a little bit more cautious. Like take a couple of dates before you decide to jump head first or feet first, whatever the expression is. But if you're on the flip side and you're somebody that takes a lot of time in evaluating whether somebody is the right fit for you, I would say just rely on instinct. So like let yourself kind of approach things a little bit differently and be open to thinking about other ways of how you evaluate people. And the last one is actually a question for you guys. So how do you guys feel?
The fuck?
So like, this isn't necessarily like, I don't think it's settling for less, but I think sometimes women and people will say like, hey, like my best relationships have been like my best friends or like somebody that was already my friend. So let's say you're that person that has been friend zoned for a while. How do you feel about being taken out of the friend zone and put into the dating scene with somebody that you've known for a while and they were your friend? Like, do you think that's like a viable dating strategy?
No,
it's
not.
I don't know. I don't trust it. I actually been thinking about that a lot recently. There's been a couple, not friends, but like acquaintances who have gone that route and got married to that person. They were like always like friends. And then, so a lot of times I went to school with the female and like she had her fun and then kind of came back to the guy who, I don't know what he was doing, but I don't know. I don't think he was having as much fun. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like what suddenly changed? Like, I know people change, but like, I don't know. It just seems kind of selfish in a way.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are open to that. And I was wondering if that is a viable piece of advice. Because I guess, like, I don't know. If you have a genuine friendship, I would think that you're not trying to screw them over. But I guess it would also depend on that person's intentions, too.
Yeah.
Hey, you turned me down like 50,000 times.
Yeah, like
I'm good.
Like I'm your like fucking safety net or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. From a self-esteem, like emotional, mental.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty okay on this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Go away.
Okay. All right. So I was going to recommend that, but don't do that.
Wait, what? No.
Don't do that.
Hell no.
My advice is going to be contingent.
Hell no.
What you thought. But yeah, so I think that was a lot of what we had. And to wrap up the episode, I just wanted every one of us to reiterate like our big piece of advice for 2018. So I'm going to say mine again, even though I said it a whole bunch of times a few minutes ago. Don't be afraid to walk up to somebody. Don't be afraid to approach somebody. And just get comfortable with putting yourself out there.
Cool. Yeah. And then mine is just be vulnerable. Like a big part of dating is just blind trust. Like it's never going to work if you're like just holding back or reserved for whatever reason. So be vulnerable, but at the same time, just be honest with yourself and the other person, what you can and can't give, or what space and headspace you're adding in your life. So yeah, those are my two little nuggets of wisdom.
And me, I'd say just leverage all your friends. Like if you have friends of a friend that you find attractive, just let that friend know, hey, you know, I want you to set me up with this person and take it from there.
Show them what you work with. No,
yeah, there you go. Twerk
gonna learn today.
You better twerk on that dance floor. You better start twerking.
Them ABCs.
You better be doing the dick slang all through the whole table.
Excuse me.
And with that, we hope you have a happy dating life in 2018.
Hey.
Good luck, everyone.
Are you a Spreaker user? Follow us on Spreaker and help us get closer to getting listed on iHeartRadio. Remember just to search for NoFreeDrinks on the Spreaker platform. And that was our episode today. Thanks for coming. I hope it was good for you too. This is Lena D. Kisses.
This is Wesley. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
This is Brock. Make love, not babies.